Are we supposed to put our hands down?
I don't know that it matters.
Y'all are doing it, so.
Go ahead. Okay, welcome guys. We are going to answer some live questions here. We've got several questions already rolling in, so please pay attention to the answers before you send in any more possibly. We've got quite a few. So the first question, okay. Okay, hi, welcome guys. We're going to do the counselor live Q&A right now. I've got several questions rolling in, so please listen to the answers before maybe asking some other questions because we've got several to work from already. All right, first question. I am registered for a core class that I already took and passed. Do I need to turn in a change request form with it being a core class?
I'll take the first question. We're going to be in the cafeteria during lunches next week and then some after school dates as well to talk to students. We want to look at your transcript so we can verify that you do actually have credit in that class. And then depending on what you want to replace that class with, we may fix it right there on the spot, or we may ask you to complete the waiver form when that is available a little bit later.
Okay, next question. When can students get where and when can students get an IE squared application? Students can pick up or print out an IE squared application either in the counseling office or on our counseling registration tab on the website. Do students need to sign up for 7 classes if they're applying for IE squared? Yes, we would prefer that you sign up for 7 classes even if you are submitting an IE squared contract. If you don't know, the IE squared contract is a senior privilege. If you are on track to graduate, you can have up to 3 periods off or start 1 period late and have 2 or 3 periods off. The maximum amount of IE squared periods that you can have is 3. If you are a student athlete, you must have 5 classes. So the max you can have if you're a student athlete is 2 periods of IE squared. That application is due, along with all the other applications for courses, February 28th. And again, you can print that off the website, or you can find, I think there's a couple of copies in the main counseling office. How can students sign up for Office Aid? So again, this application is available on the website on the counseling tab. The due date is February 28th to the appropriate teacher for any and all applications. Is chemistry required for graduation?
I'll take this one. So just to reiterate the science graduation requirements, you need 4 sciences to graduate: physical science or physics, one of those 2, biology, and the third would need to be either chemistry, environmental, or earth systems. And then the 4th is a science of your choice. So no, you don't necessarily have to have chemistry to graduate. However, for college admissions, it's considered more rigorous. It's also a Hope Scholarship rigor course. So there's a lot of good reasons still to take the course, especially if you're interested in that type of field that might use chemistry in college. So it's going to look a little bit better for college, but you don't have to have it to graduate.
Can French 2 be taken online in the summer?
I'll take that question. Possibly. That's a question that you would want to talk with your counselor about, and he or she would look at lots of different factors to see if there are options that would be appropriate for you to be able to do a foreign language online over the summer.
If a student wants to do dual enrollment next year, what is the process they need to follow? Again, I would recommend going to the counseling website. There is a specific dual enrollment page which outlines the steps for either UNG, University of North Georgia, or Linear Tech. If you're more interested in a technical class like welding, automotive, nurse assisting, something like that, that would be more Linear Tech. If you're interested in a core class like English, history, that sort of thing, that would be more UNG. But each school has different requirements, and you need to go to the counseling page and review the dual enrollment page. There's already been some info nights that each college has hosted, which we have advertised at the dual enrollment night we held in November and at the parent nights. So again, just go to the counseling webpage, and after reviewing that page, make an appointment with your counselor to talk about which school will be a better fit for you. I have a class scheduled during a block period, AP Calc, AB BC. It is listed as units 50 out of 70. It should be 60 out of 70. It's asking for 2 classes to make up the 70, but if I do that, there won't be enough time for the block class. What should I do?
So for this one, we'll just have to check that one for you. If you want to touch base with your counselor, put a note in their box, or stop by at lunch when we're out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we'll look at that and make sure it's not a mistake in the way the courses are set up. And if it's not, we'll fix that for you and get that taken care of.
If I want to waive out of a class, how will I register for a different class if the portal windows don't sync up?
I'll take that one. On the waiver document, there is a field for classes I would like to add and classes I would like to drop. You're going to tell us what to drop in the field to drop and what to add in its place in the field to add, and we'll work off of that waiver document. So all changes will go through the waiver.
Can I take 4 classes first semester but 5 second semester? My spring sport requires I take 5. You have to be in 5 classes, both the previous semester and the current semester, to be eligible to play sports. So the answer to that would be no. You need to be in 5 for fall and 5 for spring if you are in a spring athletic. I am a current 9th grader who would like to enroll in AP Statistics. However, I cannot locate the course by name or number. Is it because the class is an 11th grade course? Would I need to see my counselor to register for this course?
For AP Statistics, there are prerequisites in math that you have to get through first, and you have to get all the way at least through Algebra 2. This is one we'd probably want to talk with the student about to make sure we get that in their schedule the correct year, but that's probably why you can't choose it right now. You could do a waiver if you're eligible, but I don't think we would normally have a 10th grader doing that, but why don't you stop by and see your counselor, put a note in their box, or touch base with us next week at lunch, and we'll help you work through that question.
Does psychology count as a social studies credit?
It does. It's not one of the required social studies credits for graduation, but it is a social studies credit because it's a social studies state course number, and it counts toward the core GPA calculations. So, yes.
Is it possible to test into a course with prerequisites?
Go ahead.
That one would be a specific question for specific classes, but my understanding is that no, if an entire class is a prerequisite for that course, it's because the information is preparing you for that class and you are not able to test into it. But because that question's a little vague, if you still have questions about it, I would ask your counselor. Is photography not offered anymore?
No, it's not offered this year.
A student was recommended for Food for Life as an elective course. So she has an 80 out of 70 units in the portal. How can she remove that elective course to make room for a different elective course that she'd rather take instead?
Again, through the waiver process, anything to be dropped or added needs to happen through the waiver process.
Hey, sorry, we're gonna have to start over because no one in the building is getting the speed.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's why we've been running around back here. Is because
Okay.
like 800 is not getting it, 500 is not getting it, 400 is not getting it, 200 is not getting it, so literally no one's getting this.
Oh.
The link is not matching for some reason, so they're trying to fix that right now.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure I'll don't delete anything.
Yeah.
So hang on
Okay.
a second and then we'll start.
So you think we need to start over? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got good practice in.
I
You
know.
did.
We're
It
nice and
sounded
warmed up.
awesome, though.
Thanks.
And we'll probably run into then the second. I mean, these are good questions I feel like we should
Yeah.
answer. I'm fine with then not.
Jeez, I thought it looked like something was wrong back there. But that's okay.
Okay guys, sorry about the technical difficulties. We got about halfway through, so we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to be pretty hard hitting and go kind of as quickly as we can, okay? So just be patient with us. I am registered for a core class I already took and passed. Do I have to turn in a change request form with it being a core class?
You're going to do that through the waiver probably. We'll be in the cafeteria during lunches next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So stop by and see us. We may fix it then. We may ask you to do the waiver. We'll just have to take a look at it.
When can students start and where can they get an I² application? I² applications are available either in the counseling office or you can print one off on your own online on the registration information page. You can get them anytime. They've been posted for a couple weeks now. The due date is February 28th. Do students need to sign up for 7 classes if they are applying for I²? Yes, we would prefer that you sign up for all 7 classes so that once we receive your I² contract, we can then take you out of the classes that you need. The reason for this is that it's easier for us to take you out of a class than sign you back up for one. We don't want to risk a class being filled that you actually really wanted to take. How can students sign up for Office Aid? Again, this is an application that is listed on the counseling website under the registration tab. All applications for any course that you want to take that requires an application is on the counseling website. You print it out, you turn it into the appropriate person, and the due date is February 28th. Is chemistry required for graduation?
Chemistry is not required for graduation, but let's talk about what is required for graduation in science. You need 4 sciences. One needs to be physical science or physics. The second needs to be biology. The third could be the options of chemistry, environmental, or earth systems. And then your 4th science is one of your choosing from a lot of different sciences we offer. So no, chemistry is not required to graduate. However, for college admissions, some colleges might require that, or it might look better because it's a more rigorous class. And also is considered a HOPE GPA rigor course. It could count as one of your 4 that are required for that. So there's a bunch of reasons to take chemistry, but no, you don't necessarily have to have it to graduate high school.
Can French 2 be taken online in the summer?
That depends. You're going to want to meet with your counselor to talk about that, submit a slip, and he or she will call you in as soon as they can. They'll look at some different pieces of data and then decide if that's a good option for you over the summer and where that might be possible.
If a student wants to do dual enrollment next year, what is the process they need to follow? I would direct you to go to the counseling website under the dual enrollment tab. It has all the information that you could need to know about it. It has information about the University of North Georgia dual enrollment and Lanier Tech dual enrollment. If you're interested in more technical classes, Lanier Tech might be a better option. If you're interested in more college classes such as English or history, UNG might be a better fit, but each college has different requirements. So I can't say, whether one fit's a good fit for you. You need to look at the websites and then you need to make an appointment with your counselor to double check and see. I have a class scheduled during a block period, AP Calc, AB, BC. It is listed as units 50 out of 70. It should be 60 out of 70. It's asking for 2 classes to make up the 70, but if I do that, there won't be enough time for the block class. What should I do?
Okay, so if there is an issue with the way the courses are numbering in the 70 out of 70, that's something we would just want to check on and make sure it's not something that we can fix. So put a note in to see your counselor or stop by lunch next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and we'll double check and make sure that is the issue, and we'll work on that for you.
If I want to waive out of a class, how will I register for a different class if the portal windows don't sync up?
On the waiver document, when you open that up, there's a field for classes I want to add and classes I want to drop. And you're going to put what you want us to drop, and we'll process that, and then we'll turn right back around and add the ones that you wanted added if prerequisites are met and those are approved. So that waiver document's how all that's going to happen.
Can I take 4 classes first semester but 5 classes second semester if my spring sport requires I take 5 classes? Short answer is no. If you are a spring athlete, you need to be in a minimum of 5 classes, and I'm guessing that a senior is asking this question, okay? This doesn't apply for 9 through 11. You have to be in 5 classes the semester previous and the current semester that you're playing the sport.
Passing 5.
Passing in and passing. I'm a current 9th grader who would like to enroll in AP Statistics. However, I cannot locate the course by name or number. Is it because it's an 11th grade course? Do I need to see my counselor?
AP Statistics has prerequisites before you can get to that course, so you probably could not take it as a sophomore, but we could talk with you about this and make sure you don't have the prerequisites. Generally, you have to have been through Algebra 2 before you take a statistics class. So put a note in our box or come by and see us at lunch and we'll help figure that one out for you.
Does psychology count as a social studies credit?
Yes, it does, but it does not count as one of the required social studies credits for graduation. Those are world history, U.S. history, and then a semester each of government and economics. So psychology is a social studies elective credit, but not required for graduation.
Is it possible to test into a course with prerequisites? Generally speaking, since that's kind of a vague question a little bit, if the course that you're trying to go into requires a specific course to take, prior to that, it's because that course is preparing you for vital information in that course, and I can't think of a course where you can test into as a prerequisite. But again, since that's a specific question, I would talk with your counselor about that one. Is photography not offered anymore?
No, photography is not offered for next school year, so if you wanted to take photography eventually, you would sign up for visual arts as most times the prerequisite for that course if we ever offer it again.
How do I get out of a class that was recommended? And the example is the student was recommended for Food for Life, which puts their units in the portal as 80 out of 70, so they do need to remove one course. The answer is that you would submit a waiver when the waiver opens up and say that you'd like to drop that course and add nothing else. Okay. If I was given a PE credit from one of my classes last year and I don't have it accounted for this year after I moved across the country, what should I do?
That's a transcript question where we're going to have the official transcript from the previous school. If the credit was awarded at a previous accredited school and it's on your transcript, then we will do an evaluation and get that on our Forsyth County transcript.
Are all AP classes weighted equally? I have a student who has a weight of 1 for AP Human Geography but thought the weight should be higher.
Let me take that one.
Yes.
So AP courses, all AP courses have an extra quality point added. So for example, an A would be a 5 on your GPA, a B would be a 4, a C would be a 3, and then there's nothing below. Failing is still a 0 for that. So I think that's answering your question. All of them are weighted the same. If that doesn't clarify what you're looking for, feel free to contact us. We can clarify a little bit more. But all AP courses are weighted the same. They all get that one extra quality point.
What if a student has ROTC for one of their required courses but they do not want to continue in the program? Again, this would be a situation where the student would submit a waiver, and because the ROTC classes are 2 periods, they need to say they want to waive out of, for example, ROTC 3 and 4 and waive into 2 other classes to have a complete schedule.
I'd also urge you on that one to talk to your ROTC instructor before you make that decision, and then possibly follow through with a conversation with your counselor as well.
If a student wants weight training as an elective and only pops open to choose as an alternate, is there a reason?
This is probably because it's maybe the 80th out of 70, the 8th class. So what you would need to do is waive out of one of your other electives, and then you can move that one into the spot that's opened up by the waiver on the other one. So I'm guessing that's what it is without seeing it, but if not, let us know.
How do I sign up for IE Squared? So this question has already been answered, and I understand I'm kind of working on 30 emails right now. So IE Squared contract is in the counseling office, or you can print it off online from the counseling website. It needs to be turned into your counselor. If I want honors mentorship, 2 periods, how do I register? I don't have a number for it and it's not listed. I have an application, but it's not due until March 9th. What do I do about registering on the portal?
Very good question. We want you to get that application in completely and thoroughly and very well written before the deadline. But in the meantime, we want you to register for 7 classes with 3 alternates as if you were going to be scheduled in our classes all day here at North Forsyth High School. Once those applications are processed, then that'll be a conversation either with the honors mentorship facilitator who'll have conversations with the counselor who's doing the scheduling, or directly with us so that we know which classes to drop to make space if your honors mentorship application is approved.
How do students sign up for summer school classes? Summer school class, if you are interested in either making up a credit or getting ahead in credits and you want to take classes over the summer, the counselors will have information about that more in May, depending on your situation. Summer school is very specific. Not a ton of students take summer school classes, so if that's you, I would recommend talking with your counselor, but just knowing that some of those opportunities won't really have solidified until May. Mm-hmm. What do students register for if they're planning on dual enrollment or participating in IE squared? You register for a full day's schedule, and so that means that if you are wanting to do a IE squared, you also need to turn in an IE squared contract so that we have that on file. Mm-hmm. A student has 80 out of 70 because he is recommended for both AP Computer Science A and AP Computer Science Principles. What should he do?
He or she would just need to waive out of the one that they don't want when the waiver period opens, and you don't want to add any, so you'll just waive out of one, not waive into anything else.
I see that I need to apply with counseling for the IE squared contract. In the meantime, what do I sign up for to acquire the 70 out of 70 requisite for registration?
I tell my students to sign up for something that if you had to take it, it wouldn't kill you. And when we process the contracts and the waivers, we'll take those out.
When I go on Infinite Campus, it does not show Parent Portal at all.
Oh, that sounds like a technology question for maybe Miss Jackson in the front office, or possibly Mr. Barron or Mr. Sarfati in the Media Center.
Is team sports offered next year? Let me double check. Mm-hmm. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
It's just called Lifetime Sports. It's the same thing. It's just we use a different course name. It's in different years to have different course numbers. So Lifetime Sports or General PE is the year-long version of that. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. You may see like General PE 4, it's General PE. The number is not necessarily relevant to, to your everyday registration. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. What if you've been recommended for 8 classes?
Again, you'll use the waiver process to narrow that down to 7.
Okay. Should 10th graders make an appointment for dual enrollment with their current counselor or the counselor that they will have for the upcoming year? We have been operating as if students are making schedules with their current counselor. Mm-hmm. That's what we've been doing this year. I don't see that changing. I understand the question, and that if ultimately your next year's counselor is going to be managing your schedule, I can understand where you'd want to meet with them. But as of right now, currently meet with your current counselor. Where is the link to waive classes? The link will be made available on the counseling website on the registration page on Monday, March 5th. It is not on there right now, so it's not active. There's nothing. But mark your calendars for March 5th if you're interested in waiving into or out of a class. I'm currently doing an internship in my own personal time. I plan to be doing it after school next year, which is my senior year. Should I do IE squared and then just leave and go to my internship, or should I talk to my boss about doing work-based learning?
I would recommend, if you can, do work-based learning, because you get credit on your transcript for that, and it looks a little bit better for college admissions. There's some extra things that you can learn through work-based learning that would be beneficial. So I would try to set that up if possible. It's going to be it'll look better for college admissions and be a better experience for you.
Work-based learning credits also contribute to your cumulative GPA, which determines your class rank, which colleges look for in admissions.
Is advanced animation an application course? I have the prereq, but it will not let me add the course. My understanding is that it is not an application course, and so I do not have that answer for you specifically. What I would suggest would be to make an appointment and talk with your counselor about that. I'm sorry guys, I'm just trying to get through all of them. I'm down to 26 emails, so don't see photography on the list. Is it offered next year? Y'all look great.
Yes,
I appreciate that, Ms. Evans. Photography is not on the list for a reason. It is not going to be offered next year. If a student is recommended for Spanish 3-4, the block periods, is it okay to just take 3 as a sophomore?
That's a very individual question because we'll want to look at other rigor things that you're doing and make sure that you're balanced and competitive for college admissions. That's one that you'd want to have a conversation with your counselor about before you make that decision.
We've answered this a few times, but just to be sure, if you've been approved for IE squared, you have to have 7 classes on your registration. Will the electives be removed when the portal closes? The answer is yes, but we need your IE squared contract. There is no way for us to know magically what seniors are doing IE squared. So unless we have a hard copy of that IE squared contract, IE squared will not be put in your schedule. Okay? You want IE squared, you want to leave early, you want to come late, turn in the contract. I have entered the course number for forensics, but nothing comes up. What's wrong?
Forensics is a core class, and generally, if it wasn't recommended by your science teacher, you won't be able to add it. So you would need to waive into that course when the waiver opens. So if you want it as additional science, doubled science, you could waive into it then, or waive out of your other science and get into that as long as you have met the prerequisites.
What is the course number for team sports? So if you look under the physical education electives on this form, okay, this long form, you'll see general PE, health, personal fitness, and lifetime sports / driver's education. The year-long PE is general PE, okay? Team sports is the same as lifetime sports, but it's just a semester long. So if you want to do lifetime sports, you have to pick another class that's a semester long on the other side of that. If a student wants to take a course at another school that is not offered at North, how does he/she do that?
That may not be an option. It depends on what other school you're talking about. That's a conversation you would want to make an appointment and have with your counselor, or either come and see us when we're in the cafeteria during lunches Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
If a student is going to Alliance Academy, do they need to select electives today?
My understanding is the Alliance Academy windows are open the same as ours. So you were supposed to be given a registration packet today. If you hadn't gotten that yet for Alliance Academy, stop by counseling. Ms. Christopher has those. And then Alliance Academy is also going to be at lunch today from 12 to 2. So stop by and ask them if you have any questions.
If I have all the required courses, will I have to take 4 or 5 classes as a senior? It depends. If you're a student athlete, you have to be in a minimum of 5. If you are not a student athlete and you want to have IE squared, the maximum amount of IE squared periods you can have is 3, so you could just be in 4 classes. A student is trying to search for AP and Biro, no information will populate. Any information suggestions?
This is the same situation with the forensics. It would have needed to be recommended by the teacher. If it wasn't recommended by the teacher, then you would need to waive into that course when the waiver opens next. And when is that? March 5th.
I'm planning to dual enroll. All the classes I'm signing up for will end up dropped. Is it possible to sign up for a core class, or should I just sign up for 5 elective classes? What I would do is I would submit a waiver to get into, what I would do is I would make sure that you have all your core classes in your schedule. So don't sign up for just a bunch of 5 electives. That's not, you need to be in classes as if something might change over the summer. It's not uncommon for students to change their mind, and we find out that after that whole dual enrollment process, they don't want to do it anymore. So it's better for us to have you in a class that we can take you out of if you do end up doing dual enrollment, versus having you sign up for 5 periods of classes that you don't necessarily need or want to take just because, and then you're stuck in those classes. It's easier for us to take you out of a class than try to squeeze you into one. So that's why we recommend signing up for all 7 periods, and then we can take you out if you're doing IE squared, dual enrollment, or an online class. If that doesn't answer your question, talk with your counselor, okay? I turned in my IE squared form, but do I need to do anything for registration to get IE squared, or is it automatically added to my schedule? Yes, it's automatically added as long as you turn in your form. What classes are required to have the Hope Scholarship?
There's a long list of Hope eligible rigor courses. Lots of them are offered here at North Forsyth High School. kind of the way that we look at it quickly is all level 2 or higher world languages, algebra 2 and your 4th math, any AP classes, and then there's a long list of other classes, human anatomy, forensics, all kinds of other things. To be sure, you'd want to meet with your counselor and make sure you have all those 4.
And all the Hope Scholarship information is on gafutures.org if you wanted to read over that along with the rigor requirements.
Okay, do we sign up for online learning over the summer here or go to the actual school? That kind of depends on the class and the purpose and what you're interested in doing. Any online learning or summer school needs to be directed through your specific counselor.
And we'll have more information regarding that April or May. So you may just want to put that one on hold and speak with us when we have all the options available to communicate those to you.
Can you take a science class as an alternate? Yes. Yes, you may. So that would be, if you are having trouble adding the science class, then that would be like what Mr. Owens was talking about, where you would submit a waiver. You know, I mean, for an alternate, if you already have, 3 alternates in there, then you don't necessarily need to submit a waiver for a class to be an alternate, because the alternate is the option. But yes, you could put a science class as an alternate. Can I double up on math?
That depends. That's a very individual question again, and a decision that you would want to make with the counselor for your caseload.
Do I hit the request form on campus portal? Yes, is my understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Skip it.
Does AP Computer Science count as a language?
Mr. Owens,
You want me to take that one?
Anyone?
It can. AP Computer Science is flexible in how you count it. You just want to keep in mind what is required for college admissions too. So it can count as a math, a science, a language, or a CTAE course.
And that's for the University System of Georgia. Mm-hmm. So just like Mr. Owens said, if you're interested in going to University of South Carolina and you're banking on AP Computer Science principles and AP Computer Science A as being your world language, they may not accept that. Mm-hmm. Only public schools in the state of Georgia have officially said that AP Computer Science or even Computer Science principles and AP Computer Science A count as the world language, but you have to have both, just like you would Spanish 1, Spanish 2. If you're moving to a different state, do you still select your courses that you would want next year, or just not select courses?
We want you to select courses as if you were going to be here all year, every day. As she said about dual enrollment, sometimes things change, plans change over the summer, and we'd rather not have to squeeze you into classes where there may not be room than take you out when you decide that you're moving.
Does dual enrollment give the students an extra quality point on their GPA as well?
Yes, dual enrollment counts like an AP course. You get that extra quality point for your dual enrollment courses. So if you're weighing the options of doing AP versus dual enrollment, we'd be happy to talk with you about which one may be a better fit for you. Because there's some advantages to doing AP courses. There may be some advantages to doing dual enrollment courses.
I want to take Guitar 1, but when I search, Guitar 2 is the only thing that comes up. I've already submitted a form to Mr. Thomas. It sounds like you have done exactly what you need to do. You've submitted the application to Mr. Thomas, and then he will evaluate that, and you will get into, or you might not be accepted into the course. There's nothing I can do until that time. Does AP Computer Science count towards GPA the same way the world languages do?
No, because world languages are on-level classes until you get to AP Spanish, and AP Computer Science is an AP course. So it's going to have the extra quality point, but it can count in lieu of a language credit if you want it to, but I would encourage you to kind of talk through that with your counselor to make sure you're getting set up, like we said before, for college admissions.
How many credits is honors mentorship worth? So honors mentorship, each period that you have it is 1 credit. And for honors mentorship, for 1 period you get you have to do 3 hours of your intern your shadowing experience, what have you. For work-based learning, 1 period is equivalent to 5 hours. So if you do 2 hours of honors mentorship, you're getting 2 credits and you're required for 6 hours per week. If you do two periods of work-based learning, that's 10 hours a week, it's 2 credits, okay? Those applications are in the counseling office, and there's no flexibility on those deadlines. If you are interested in that, look into it. We have information on our website. Talk with your counselor, talk with your family, and then submit an application. I took the 2nd class of a pathway my sophomore year and did not take the last class my junior year, but I want to take it my senior year. Can I put this in the portal and it allow me to sign up for it? It is currently not popping up when I put the course number or name, even though I have the prereq for that class.
That could be a situation where something's not being offered, or it's an audition or an application class. That's something that if you'll stop by next week when we're in the cafeteria on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during lunch, we'll look at that for you and try to problem solve that with you.
Will you please tell current 9th grade students that have applied for AP Psychology to go ahead and register for AP Psychology, and if they are not approved, they will be contacted.
So we told you.
So we just, yeah, there you go. I was recommended for both AP Government and AP Macroeconomics, but would I be able to waive out of one rather than taking both of them?
Yes, you can. You don't have to do AP Government and AP Macro. You could choose one or the other. You would just need to do the waiver out of one into the on-level version. Keep in mind the on-level version of those courses are just semesters, whereas the AP options are full year credits. So when you waive out of that and get into a semester one, you're going to need to choose an additional semester elective to go with that so your schedule works out.
So I'm officially out of emails. There are a couple of things that I just want to say really quick. I know we're running a little bit over. Let's see. A couple of questions that we typically get, I'm surprised we didn't get this morning. Is it completing a pathway required to graduate? No, it is not. We encourage you to, but it is not required. Is taking an AP course required to graduate? No, it is not. We encourage you to take at least one and really test yourself, but it is not required. Do I have to have an AP course to be eligible for HOPE? No, you do not. There are, like Ms. Haynes said earlier, there's a long list of rigor courses that count for the HOPE scholarship. You have to have 4. And of course, the AP classes do count, but so do the 2nd year of a language, chemistry, your junior year math, and your senior year math. So actually, a lot of students get those 4 requirements pretty easily. Occasionally, I'll get this, is community service required to graduate? No, it is not. And again, we will be, counselors will be in the cafeteria next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during all lunches to answer any of these type of questions that you have to help you troubleshoot. We are not technology portal experts, so if your portal is not showing up or you're having trouble with logging in, that is more, that's a question for somebody else, and we can direct you to that person, okay? At this time, I still don't have any new emails, so I think we should be just about finished.
Happy scheduling.
Yes.